Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlin, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Mark Leibovit, editor and publisher of the Leibovit VR newsletters, also known as VRTrader.com. He's speaking to us from Arizona. Welcome back to the show, Mark.
Glad to be back.
Mark, do you have a special offer for our listeners?
We do. It's the 2021 half off. 2021 half off is the promo code. When you go to VRTrader.com and you pick out one of our newsletters and you get to the order page, and when you get to the promo code space, that's where you enter the 2121 HALF off, 2021 half off, and you get 50% off any subscription for any time frame you specify.
Mark, do the stock markets look like they're topping out? Because we've had so many people say they fear this September.
You know, my model called for a sharp sell-off in sometime into the third week of July. We got it. Most of it we saw this past Monday, and I thought it was going to extend another day or two. It didn't. It was actually pretty much started Friday before that, so it was actually not the first day down. But so that looks like where my model was fulfilled very, very short term, and then from there it said it bounced again. But then, we're looking at problems again in the fall. So I think what's going to happen is it'll go higher before it goes lower, and maybe it's tied to earnings next week. I'm told a lot of high-tech companies are reporting, and since many of these weight heavily in the indexes, we could see still another spike higher. So and then the question is, what type of intensity are we going to see in the fall? We're sort of conditioned to expect market crashes in October and so forth. And, you just got to take it a day at a time. But normally seasonality and, patterns seem to prevail. So, August, September, October, you got to sort of be careful. And we'll just sort of, watch the numbers. But so much of the market pressure has been to the upside with low rates and Federal Reserve cooperation, and where else people are going to put their money. So it sounds like it may not all be over, and we just have to trade it until the end of the year. If we get a sharp sell-off at some point, I suspect we're going to see a lot of buyers. And what 2022 offers, well, just can't tell that yet. So we're just going to have to take it a day at a time here. But, since there's so many bears out there, myself included, it wouldn't surprise me that the market does pretty well into year-end, which is not what I would normally expect.
Well, expect the unexpected could be the expected thing.
That's been the case. So, even with some of the short squeeze stocks, the meme stocks, whether you're talking about AMC or GameStop, and a lot of unexpected events have, unfolded this year. So, and look at the move in crude oil that nobody expected. Everybody was sort of bearish, and it exploded to the upside when the prevailing view was, crude oil is going away and we don't need it anymore. So, a lot of unexpected things are continuing to unfold.
Do you expect airline travel is going to continue to demand a lot more fuel and personnel? Apparently, the thing that's keeping airlines from fulfilling all the booked dates is that they laid off all these pilots, and you have to be retrained if you've been laid off a certain period of time. You have to get ground crews, flight attendants, and so on.
Yeah, we also had that story out there about, I think it was some British Airways pilots that suddenly passed away unexpectedly, and whether it was related to the vaccine or the COVID, that was an interesting story in recent weeks. So maybe there was a temporary shortage of pilots that got sick for whatever reason, but normally that would definitely be a plus. But there's some places that are closed. Like, for example, I have some friends who want to go to Israel, and Israel's shut down. And, Canada is still shut down unless you've got until August, until you have vaccination proof and so forth. So there's still some variables here on the travel. And you've got this crazy Delta, is it the Delta virus they call it? I'm losing
variant?
track.
Yeah, Delta.
Delta variant out there, which,
and apparently another one from South Africa.
Right. There's just no end to it. I mean, here we get into the old conspiracy theory stuff. I'm just wondering if somebody's out there just spraying the air with bad viruses just to intentionally get people sick. I mean, it sounds like a crazy thing to say, but it's one after another, and they suddenly appear, and there's supposed mutations and so forth, but I never thought from day one the entire COVID event was an accident anyway. So I think it's an intentional event to control world population, unfortunately, and change the economics of the world into some very bad players out there. That's sort of my view, but most people wouldn't accept that. They just think, oh, it's just a virus that got accidentally sent out, and now it's mutated and whatever. But this continues. They could try to keep pressure on for a couple of years. There could be no end to viruses appearing for one reason or another. So it's just crazy out there. It's hard to pinpoint where things are going. But if it does become, get out of control, of course that's going to affect markets and travel and prices and so forth. So we'll see it on the tape. We'll see what kind of selling. The big sell-off we saw this past Monday, I think, was related to the variant. So if it really gets out of hand, can we get another crash like we saw last March in 2020, or will the plunge protection team and those who hold the strings of the market able to support it this time? So it's very interesting.
And China, probably being the kind of country that it is with its government, they're refusing to cooperate on the investigation of the origins of this COVID virus. So what do you think? Are people going to go along with the theory that they either accidentally or deliberately let it leak from a lab?
I don't know what people, believe. Most people I talk to are happy they got vaccinated, think that they're safe, but, there are statistics that are showing that even vaccinated people can still get sick. So it is no foolproof prevention. And with variants out there, we don't know if the vaccine is going to work or not. I had my own doubts about the validity of the vaccine from day one, but there's a lot of discussion we can talk about that. People disagree about the mRNA, technology and whether that's safe or not, or whether these things really can prevent sickness. I think your immune system can protect you. That's my opinion. If you really take care of yourself and you take the right supplements and you avoid crowds and avoid sugar and do a lot of other good things, you really increase your chances of surviving. If it's radiation or something like, World War III, where you have no control over that type of thing, that's a different story, but we shall see in time.
We'll have more with Mark Leibovit right after this.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications, patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mark Leibovit. Mark, U.S. jobless claims were up a lot sharper than people expected. Is this going to slow down the economic recovery?
I can't really address that, Jim. I just, the numbers change, week to week. Let's put it this way. The stock market keeps going up. It's climbing a wall of worry. And, up to this point, it's been ignoring any bad news. Even though we had that shake this past Monday, it rebounded, came right back. So whether it's being manipulated higher, prevented from going down, we can run over all the possibilities. It doesn't seem to be affecting, the market. Maybe it'll affect it in August, September, if some some other news unfolds. I've been sort of looking for another outlier event. I don't know what that might be, but, something always comes up that you don't expect or plan, and suddenly things change quickly. So whether it's, war or some other variable, geo-cosmic events, we've had solar flare activity. It could be any number of things. So we'll see.
How's gold doing?
Not very well. And many of the gold bugs are just very, very frustrated, considering all the money printing and the debt of the governments around the world, and the devaluation of the currencies, and the advent of cryptocurrency and all this other cool stuff going on. I mean, you would just think the uncertainty would have driven gold through the roof. And I've been sort of bearish on it most of the year. Most of my comments are, be careful. Maybe it's going to 1,500 before it goes to this magical 3,000 that everybody is hoping for. Right here, short term, some of the short term stuff sort of indicates that you get a little bounce into August. We seem to be oversold here. So as a trader, there might be a little play here to the upside. My guess is you're going to see silver down around $19 an ounce. It's now around 26. And we could see that, maybe it'll be a big buy if it gets down there. And if I saw gold down in the 1350 to 1450 range, I might be more interested in being long gold. So that's sort of where I'm at. And as a technician, I will move with the numbers. Right now, that's sort of where I stand.
Crude did so much better going into the spring and early summer than many expected, but is that positivity going to remain?
For crude?
Yes.
My sense was most people were negative about crude oil, and it surprised everybody to the upside. But right here, we had a little shake. It's trying to come back here a little bit technically. I think we got to look at it like the market. When there's going to be a shake, if it comes in September, October, and there's another washout, everything's going to come down together. So that would say that the crude rally may be over or in a topping out process here short term. My longer term view is very bullish. Just all the talk about getting rid of crude oil and the fact that we don't need it, but meanwhile production is starting to pick up. There's more rigs out there that are producing now. There's shortages everywhere. The rest of the world depends on crude oil, even though supposedly the U.S. wants to stand alone and be energy independent away from crude oil. The rest of the world doesn't feel that way. So, my overall feeling is, I'm probably way out there, but, next 2 to 5 years, crude oil could be a couple $100, a barrel, way up there, way above anyone's expectations.
Well, for all those people who say we have to get rid of crude and natural gas in North America and Europe, well, Europe and North America don't produce near as much greenhouse gases as China does all by itself. So we're already doing a good job.
Right, we are. And we're not given enough credit for that, but that's where we're at. So, meanwhile, you got to trade it, and maybe a little bit more of a bounce here, but I suspect there might be more of a correction in it into the fall, and then we'll go from there. And bigger picture, like I say, I have to say I'm more bullish than bearish, but let's see what type of correction we get first.
What's going on with Bitcoin?
It's I still have to define it in a correction. I'm looking for a bottom. I don't know exactly where that bottom is. I watch it day to day. If you look at Bitcoin, there's a chart number. I think I mentioned this last week, around 18,000. Whether it gets there or not in a washout, I can't say. If it hits that number, I think it'd be one hell of a trade. And most of the other coins, the Doggy coin, Dogecoin, XRP, Litecoin, many of the Ethereum, many of the others, still seem to be, in a sort of a downtrend, or I guess you could call bottoming process. So I'm waiting for some clear signals. I'm ready to jump. I'm bullish on all of them. I don't think it's over by any stretch. It's just that they're in a corrective phase, and I'm not quite sure if they've bottomed here yet or not. So I've been sort of hoping for another washout, like that 18,000 in Bitcoin, and XRP, which is around 50 cents, maybe down to 20 or 30 cents. Doggy coin under a penny. It went from under a penny up to 70 cents, and that was Elon Musk's big tout, so to speak, when he went on Saturday Night Live and did that big show on They call it Doggy. I like Doggy Coin better than Dogecoin, just cuter. But so I'm hoping to fish for them. If they start to move, I'm going to be on them. I think that's the future. There's a big trend there, despite all the comments, oh, government doesn't want them or like them or we'll make them illegal. I think that's nonsense. It's like saying, banning gold. They tried that and that didn't work for too long. So people want to protect themselves against governments and depreciating currency, and we're in a technological world now, and these are technological transaction vehicles. So, but anyway, waiting for confirmation of a bottom. I don't think it's there yet, but if I see it, we'll jump in.
Mark, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Have a great week, and talk to you next week. Thanks, Jim.
My guest has been Mark Leibovit, editor and publisher of the Leibovit VR newsletters, also known as vrtrader.com. He has a special offer for you, so please check it out. If you have any questions for Mark or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com, and we'll ask that question for you. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.